we need to have retroactive taxation at all.
Okay, let me also ask you then, Mr. Modi is clearly, his approach or his economic approach is clearly right of centre. In that context, what space will social sector schemes that were unveiled by the Congress over the last 10 years find in the BJP's economic agenda? Do you propose that the BJP tweak the social security schemes that the Congress unveiled? How would you like them to tweak them, if at all?
Well, I have already written extensively on the topic of a next generation social security system. And it goes without saying that in any society, in any modern day society, it's absolutely essential to have an efficient, robust social security system. We need to make sure that nobody is deprived, nobody feels economically insecure in this country. And we have the resources to do that, whether it is financial resources, whether it is food, whether it is water. We have the resources to make sure that nobody needs to feel insecure about their basic livelihoods. And we need to ensure that. Now, with that in mind, we have to then take a look at the whole panoply of welfare schemes that have been created by the UPA government and find out which of these schemes, in fact, are delivering literally the goods and are making it possible for people to lead a life of dignity. And where is it that we are having huge amounts of leakage? Where is it that people are not, in fact, happy with the kinds of services that are being delivered? So one has to think through that. This is not something that I think can be answered very easily, because it does require extensive thought, it requires extensive research, it requires a number of pilots and a lot of administrative acumen to be able to put in place a next generation social security system. What I will say is that this UPA government tried. I mean, if you see what Nandan was trying to do with UID and what they were trying to do with direct benefits transfer and so on, they had an aborted attempt to come up with the next generation social security system, which I and others have written about several times. And instead of coming up with something that would be truly revolutionary and groundbreaking for India, they ended up by just taking the same centrally sponsored schemes that have not worked well in the past and just tried to foist them onto India again. And whatever little that was being done that was revolutionary or groundbreaking kind of got aborted. So I think it has to be ascribed to as another grand failure of the UPA, that they were not in fact able to come up with what should be a next generation social security system. And therefore that should be a very important responsibility for the next government.
Okay, Jayant, the countdown to the polls has begun. How are you running your campaign? What's different about it? You have an impeccable academic profile, lots of experience in the corporate world. What are your learnings from the corporate world that you're implementing as far as your campaign strategy is concerned?
Well, Shireen, earlier you were accusing me of dynastic politics, and I told you that I've been through 6 general elections and 1 assembly election. In each of those, I've been very deeply involved in terms of campaign management as well as being in front of people. So I think, the campaign that we have in place in Hazaribagh melds together the very deep campaign expertise that I've developed over all these different campaigns. Obviously, my father is here to help, and he's a very experienced campaigner as well, along with what I've learned in the corporate world. And so I think we have a cutting-edge campaign. I think we have a campaign where we're using the most sophisticated social media tools, where we're doing a lot to reach out to people, to get to them, to focus very much is on the positive aspects of campaigning, where we've put in front of the people of Hazaribagh already very quickly, within a few days of announcing my candidacy, put in place a vision document where we are very, very clear what is it that we're promising to the people of Hazaribagh and how, in fact, we are going to build on the wonderful work that my father has done in this constituency. And of course, the response to that, I think, has been wonderful. Shane, I'll also say that having been in business and strategy and in marketing for a long time, I recognize the importance of catchy slogans in marketing. And so I think we've come up with a very catchy slogan because what we are saying now is you get 3 for the price of 1. So in Hazaribagh right now you're getting 3 for the price of 1. या आप 1 वोट दीजिए और 3 गुना लाभ आपको मिलेगा. 3 गुना लाभ देखिए, नरेंद्र मोदी जी प्रधानमंत्री तो बनेंगे ही बनेंगे, और यशवंत सिन्हा जी हजारीबाग के गार्जियन रहेंगे और सदा आपके साथ रहेंगे, और साथ साथ मेहनत करने के लिए, सेवा करने के लिए जयंत सिन्हा जी मौजूद हैं. तो आप 1 वोट डालिए और 3 गुना आपको लाभ मिलेगा.
Well, 3 for the price of 1. Let's see if voters buy that offer. But Jayant Sinha, my final 2 questions for you. What are the top 5 priorities as far as your constituency is concerned that you're selling to voters? And also, you talked about social media, but how relevant is social media in a constituency like yours?
Sure. 2 questions, and I'll answer them in turn. The first question you asked me was, what are the 5 top items on your vision for Hazaribagh? In fact, thank you for asking for the 5, because there are 5, in fact. So the first one is Bijli Sadak Pani. My father's worked very hard to ensure that there is in fact electricity, there are roads and water as to every village, to every mohalla. And we have to continue the work because it is a mission that continues endlessly, because we just need to make sure that we provide such high quality services that people are truly satisfied with Bijli Sadak Pani as they're getting it. So that's number 1 on the agenda. Number 2 on the agenda is in fact a really world-class medical center. I think a medical hospital and ambulance service, primary clinics are very much required in this area. And so that's something that I have promised the people of Hazaribagh that I will do my utmost to make sure that we get. The third area that we are working hard on is to ensure that the industrialization and the urbanization that's happening in Hazaribagh, which is happening very quickly, is done in a planned way, and that the industries that come to Hazaribagh in fact create jobs for the local community and provide wealth and prosperity here. So the planned development of Hazaribagh through industrialization and urbanization is our third point on our agenda. The fourth point is to keep pushing for special status for Jharkhand. It's very deserved, it's very much required, and it is something that can only be done in Parliament, and so I need to push very hard for that. And the fifth point is, as I said, a next generation social security system where we have in fact a single card by which every citizen of Hazaribagh can know what services, what benefits are available to them. They can go into a Seva Kendra in every village and see through a computer whether that money in fact has been deposited into their bank account or not. Such a scheme is already active in Gujarat. In fact, I have worked with Modi ji on a task force in Gujarat to implement a scheme like this, and we very much want a scheme like this in Hazaribagh and in Jharkhand as well. Now, your second question was about social media, Shireen. What I will say is, and I think you'll find it surprising coming as you do from Mumbai, but Facebook, Twitter, email are extremely popular and prevalent even in Hazaribagh, particularly in the urban areas like Hazaribagh, Ramgarh, Badhi, Chauparan and so on. People are on Facebook through mobile phones all the time, and we are very active on social media, and people are very appreciative of that. We've got our message across, we've got lots and lots of young people following us, and as one person reads about what our thinking is and what we're doing, that message is then communicated through them to tens of others. So we are having huge impact through social media, and that is part of, as I said, the melding together of political experience and campaigning with what I know is happening in social media and technology in the corporate sector.
Well, Jayant Sinha, thanks very much for joining us here on The Candidate. We wish you the very best of luck as you make your political debut. It's a large constituency, 130 kilometers, Hazaribagh, your father's constituency. So we hope that the Sinha legacy is taken forward by you. Thanks very much for joining us here on CNBC TV 18.
All right, so that was our special segment from Election Exchange, The Candidate.